many things going on in my brain. This one I'm gonna make this video about OF slash SW in general. I want you to know that first of all, the most that I'm getting audience right now is for me dancing, which I know you guys are only watching that based on, I don't think they're gonna watch me actually talking. They don't want me to talk, really, because nobody has any money. And the most people who are respectful of SWers, is from people who actually have money and they value the work, which means they actually give more of a shit about SWers than people who don't have any money. Because it's still the same that you would get for if you're a cashier, then you get the worst customers. It's the ones who have no money. They choose to be a piece of shit because they're still in their survival mode of I'm poor and all of that. Which means I think I'm being more mean to men based that's not based on that's more based on fucking people who are not going to pay anything. I'm very respectful for people who compensate for the work that I do. Um, I'm just doing a general, and because my audience is mostly people who don't pay, that it feels like they think I'm talking about them because they're my audience, but I don't make any money from this. So it's complicated. So I guess you're all, um, because I get a lot of people who are mean. There's always people who are poor and they don't spend that much as a customer in general. And then there's a certain amount of people within, you know, circle within a circle, right? That all these people are worse type of people and they're pieces of shits. When you have a lot of negativity in general, it lasts longer than you see from neutral or positive interactions. So it makes sense that I'm coming off as mean to men. It's because I get even though I know it's a small circle because I have, but when you have so many extra people, it means you still get a lot of flack, which means I'm mean in protective ways to avoid people to be mean. I guess I am saying that. I guess I am saying that I'm supposed to be less mean to the audience. Um, even though I do have people who are being very rude and like straight up absolute bullshit, like top of, like a lot of like straight up verbal abuse and all that. Um, but it's at this point that I have to ignore the negativity entirely, which means I want to make sure that I'm not as negative as myself from what I say also. So I'm trying to be more nice. Not nice of professional? I don't know. I don't know. My cat talked to me about that in tarot cards that he thinks that I'm not supposed to be an asshole. Not necessarily of I'm not allowed to feel. It means the more negativity I have out means people are going to give it back to me. Even though the ones who are not going to see my videos does mean that I'm still going to get more absolute shit from my lives. So I'm going to avoid that. I did want to talk about the OFSW um, sites who have corn. That I want you to know that everyone consumes everyone. I mean, okay, there's maybe some people who don't consume it, and that is rare. It means you're a very religious set of all of that. And even then, it means you're the few of the few because even within a church, Like I said in some videos, I tell you that neurotypicals have a general rule which they accept loopholes for most people, which means if you can think of that as math, and everyone is like, if everyone believes that's a general, then you're going to have everyone believes that they are the loophole, which means probably the general doesn't apply to anyone because all of them believe, neurotypicals wise, that they're they believe they're the outlier. But if you believe you're an outlier, everyone else is going to as well, except for those who, for the full and through, understand the rule, means the only people who are neurodivergent who will agree to the rule, and not only will they agree it, they will maintain it into their own life. So the only time you have people for the rule, the general rule that nobody is supposed to have any porn, it means that all of people will assume they are the outlier, except for there's somebody who very much agrees to the rule and they maintain it in their own lives. That would be probably only people who are autistic, ADHD, whatever. Um, so when you have people who goes, the general, all of you consume corn entirely. It's going to be something that it will be very rare to see anybody who doesn't consume it. Um, and the ones who do not consume are those who actually agree to the rule, and you that is the true outlier. Because everyone believes they're the outlier means that they're actually the average and the mean. The outlier will be only people who agree to the true rule. That's the whole neurotypical rule on everything, everywhere. So, when you have people who think, so it's more of the propaganda stuff where you want to say this and that. Another neurotypical thing is they'll say this and that. Here's all of this. They're going to hold their own, uh, they're going to, neurotypicals mask. They mask almost everything. Not the same way as the neurodivergent people. Neurodivergent people are trying to appease people. Neurotypicals want to keep their face hidden from people entirely, but they will say all of this stuff. It's very do what I say, not what I do. That's very neurotypical, and it's the whole society based on that. So when people say corn is bad, it means that is the do what I say. That's what they believe in. Now, when you have more people do that, now I want you to know that if it's corn, real humans are involved with it. When it's legal, it means people are consenting to all of these things who are grown adults who have a sense of consent and they can agree to those things. Things where people did not agree to this is something that is a crime and does not actually involve true corn, it's actual true crime. And all of that is based on children, animals, and stolen and or actual rape for people who do not agree to these things. Um when we when you understand that the whole outlier doesn't exist in general, because the general who believe in something and they say something but they do something different, then it means that they accept for many different versions of corn. um Ultimately, because you accept the version of shame, which is corn is bad, it means they have no option to say it freely because of the way of neurotypicals, the way they say things. Somehow, I don't know. I'm autistic. I don't understand why people do anything, there's this whole rule that sex is bad. Meanwhile, the entire neurotypicals understand that they are the outlier, even though we know math. If everyone is an outlier, that means they are the average. Um, so so when a person creates corn, SW, whatever, if a person is creating, they have to be compensated for this in order to fulfill it and create more of it. Um, if you do not support them, whether that's advertisements, if you're at a site that pays them for advertisement, I am on PH from a long time ago, that I did not get a dime from however many views you may seem. They have never paid me a single thing. Um, even though it's probably been a while, which means I probably have views probably past 100K at this point because it was a certain time. And yeah, definitely there is no support. Advertisement doesn't really work like you would for YouTubers. YouTubers need more support, which is like Patreon, memberships, tips, all of that. They do not get it from advertising. SWs, SWers, they will not make enough from advertising unless they're very, very popular. When somebody is on a site, depending on the site, they get very popularity is the reason why they get enough money, and it has to be a lot of popularity. Everyone knows about TikTok. You know how people hope for being a creator enough to quit your job because we're in late stage of capitalism that it's entirely dystopian. The if you let me give you an analogy, you think that you try to make content and you hope you will go viral and your TikToks will be seen from many. You're hoping that you go viral, in which case you can keep doing the same content you did. If you do not get viral, you will never make a single dime because it will not make enough to continue your creation, which means you yourself have to work wherever it is in the world. This applies to every version of art ever. When somebody isn't compensated for their creation, paintings, music, comics, um, food, recipes, what else do we do? Fabrics, fashion, what have you. If nobody can compensate for their stuff, the only thing that they will post is things that is based on their own hobby. If you want a very specific thing based on an artist, it means you have to compensate that so that they can do that. Because the rest of it is hobby, just like you on TikTok. Nothing will actually make you quit your job. If you want someone to create things that is commission wise or more things as a request, if they're not making any money as an artist, they will never do what you want to consume because it is unwilling. It's unlikely that they have the energy, time, and even money to make this shit for you. Uh, corn SW is an art because it is another creation of work, like art and all of these other things. Which means that everyone who is not being compensated for this, it does become a hobby instead of something that they can make as a career. You are not a TikToker who makes money. You are a general, an average Joe. We all are like an average Joe until something goes lucky. Unless you work enough, you can maybe make a little bit lower levels. But ultimately, there is no way that you can consume something specific to you without compensating it. The things that you consume, SW, and you do not pay for it, means that you are getting it from a website that has advertising on it. With the advertising, means that you're not adding to it other than an extra view, which is another revenue version of commercial. And it's something that you don't support except for being a viewer. The ones who do it based on niche means that there's enough people there to compensate them based on advertising. Um, I am both a creator as well as a corn creator. I am a sex W-er, and at this point, I'm trying to do both, but I don't think I'm going to do SW forever. I'm still trying to access my own soul in a lot of other ways. And I want you to know that you think that there's a lot of money in the industry. And I will tell you, it is the same rate as you would expect as TikTok. So when you think that everyone who creates corn makes a lot of money, are you rich from TikTok? Are you making any money at all on TikTok at all? That is how it is in the corn industry. You will not, the general people do not make enough money for it in general. If you look at OF itself, has from 50 to 55 percentage of, I think it's like a straight up 50% of all creators are zero monies. They have no money whatsoever. That's based on the averages, okay? At this point, I'm at up to the 40% mm, section. I don't fucking know what they said. And I only make like 120 a month. So I can't afford rent. I cannot afford rent. And I'm not even on the lower levels. So now keep in mind, everything has to go based on averages and means. So the ones who make the really a lot of money would be people who are at the very top echelon. That's the word I wanted. Echelon. I am not nowhere near any of those, and I will not make enough money to compensate for the creation that I do. Um, in general, I will probably not even keep doing the YouTube dancing because it has so many copyright issues on music. And that means I can't even have advertising on it because someone else's music on it. And I fucked up because I had a stock music that is straight up copyrighted. So I guess it's not stock. I don't know. I'm fucked. That is okay. I'm a witch. I know fairies are trying to have, they're they're fucking me over, sort of. They're making me have to focus on myself than the need for money, because the money is just building my survival mode instead of building the thrive mode. Mm, but I want you to know that in general, I'm not going to be able to be compensated for these types of things, which means it is almost un it's like not worth it to even do these. Even me dancing, I don't have to, I'm not making any money from it, from me being a nice cutie patootie doing a nice moves because I like to move. Um, it seems that I don't think that I'm going to be compensated from people because I've had it in the past. I didn't do, I did have a free OF when I started it. So I started it for about 2 years being free because I thought that I would build up an audience that they would want to continue because I start and I make it cheap as fuck. The cheapest one they have is $5. Um, I did not. The entire audience fled, which means not as. It's only very. It was like probably 7 people out of like 100 plus decided that they would save it and they wouldn't maintain it usually. So yeah, everything sucks. Um, people generally, unless a person is an artist themselves, they do not understand the creation that involves it. Um, even though they understand the reasoning that I'm telling you now, based on, I can compare it to TikTok, say, you know what I'm meaning. So you're used to it. You just think it doesn't apply to other platforms. But it is. It's all the fucking same thing because we're in all this algorithm bullshit, all that. Even artists are not going to be compensated. The real artists are going to be losing their jobs from people who use generative AI, as in AI will swallow all of these pieces of art, audio, writing to spit out something very specific. In which case, you do not compensate for the people where it's stolen in the first place. It's bad. Um, and yeah. So if you want to see more content of a specific person, you the only thing you will get them to say or do what you expect is if they can be paid for it. Because at this point, I'm not going to be paid for it, so I'm literally talking on the couch because I like saying what I want to say. I do like to dance, but I don't always like to do it right now. It's fucking summer. It's very sweaty. So it doesn't make sense that I keep doing it even though I'm not going to make enough money, which I think the fairies are definitely convincing me to not trust it as much as I want, and I'm supposed to more not rely more on money as much as I'm expecting, even though it's the capitalism and all that. But ultimately, I know that my audience is cheap. The audience who's watching this is not the same level. I think if somebody who's watching this whole video means somebody who values what I have to say, which generally means that it would be from, it's probably the future that they're going to see this, watch the whole video, appreciate what I say. That's like maybe next year. And I'm just building it now because if I have an audience, I might as well fucking do it now. Um, the time that somebody might actually watch the whole video would be, I might not even be dancing at that point. So, anyway, it's June. It's Pride Month. That's why I'm posting this. Um, if you want more art in the world, you literally have to make it affordable for people to create it, which means money. You want to share your money because everyone who gets popularity, it's from a fucking viral luck of the draw, and the rest of us, like you, like me, you just only fucking get it if you get lucky. I might even be lucky that I have an audience who's watching me dance at all. I might even be lucky for me getting the audience on YouTube entirely, in which case that might be the fairies and all that. I'm stressed as fuck. I'm trying to let go of the stress more than I'm used to, but it's hard to get used to that. Pay your artists. That includes corn. SW is real. Creation is a great thing and you should tip them. So that's that. That's all. Tip people that you want to see more stuff of theirs, art, work, whatever it is. Get to all that stuff and make it affordable that they can create because nobody will. And if I don't make enough, I'm not going to keep doing this. If I don't make enough money, I will just probably get stuck in a real job for like it's summer now, so I get fired a lot. I'm in a tourist city and I'm autistic, so they definitely kick my ass out like as soon as it's this fall. So I don't know. Now I'm stressing. So um compensate artists straight up, brother. That's it. You're an average Joe, you wouldn't get a TikTok. You wouldn't be popular on TikTok unless you got lucky. That's what we have for SW, even though they work very well. SWers are hard workers and they do much better than you think it is. Like, bro, they even need more luck than they do than TikTok. Those people, it's just if they get lucky, they can go popular. But even the work that goes into it for SW means that even the all the hard work goes for nothing. So yeah, support people. Your shame on sex shouldn't be something that you maintain it and expect that on other people. And you should support X SWs no matter what. Um and if somebody is an SW and they might not be, and this or somebody might create it, maybe not, people can choose their profession at any point in their life. So any SWer that you like and you support, they can leave the industry anytime they want to. Any musician can leave the career as at any point they want to. If you make it less affordable for artists, it means they will leave the industry. Do you like their stuff? Pay. Because guess what? They might not be there forever. You're losing it out, okay? So that's all.